Well, g'day curd nerds. Today we're making raclette. Well, raclette is a Swiss cheese. It is made from whole cow's milk, and sometimes it's pasteurised, but the AOC one is not. With this cheese I use pasteurised but unhomogenised milk from Untitled Dairy, and a big thanks goes out to those guys for providing the milk for the cheese. Now it's a semi-hard cheese, but it's also a little bit of a washed rind to create an orange colour and to give it a flavour that's unique to raclette. Now the most famous dish it's used in is called raclette potatoes, or raclette on potatoes, where they take a baked potato and they put some little green cucumbers with it and basically cut the raclette wheel in half, melt half the surface and just scrape it onto the potatoes. Now you would have seen that on the mould festival video that Kim and I went to. So that was a festival, sorry, not a video, but you saw the video. And I had raclette potatoes and it was absolutely amazing. Now I'm hoping to replicate that during the maturation of this cheese. Now this one's been going for a while. As you can see, you'll see through the process of the cheese, I'm up to washing the cheese once a week now. Anyway, enough of me waffling, let's get on and see how I made raclette. So there's the milk I used. It's Untitled Dairy unhomogenised milk. It's about 3.6% fat. The ingredients you'll need for this cheese is 10 litres or 10 quarts of whole cow's milk, 1/8 of a teaspoon of Mesophilic starter culture, 1/16 of a teaspoon of Brevibacterium Linens, which is an orange to red mould, 2.5 millilitres or half a teaspoon of calcium chloride diluted in 60 millilitres of cool non-chlorinated water, that's 1/4 of a cup, 2.5 millilitres or half a teaspoon of liquid rennet, I'm using single strength IMCU 200, diluted in 60 millilitres of non-chlorinated water. That's also 1/4 of a cup. And you'll need, for salting, a saturated brine solution at about 18%. So once you poured the milk into your pot, bring it up to the target temperature of 31 degrees Celsius or 88 degrees Fahrenheit. So once it's at temperature, we're going to add in the, I think I've got the B linens first. So that's the Brevibacterium linens. That's the 1/16 of a teaspoon. And then I'm going to add in 1/8 of a teaspoon of the Mesophilic starter culture. I'm just using the Mad Millie culture there. And each sachet contains 1/8 of a teaspoon. So that's the Mad Millie Mesophilic. Pour that onto the top. And we're going to allow all that to rehydrate for 5 minutes. Pop the lid on so no dust goes in. So after 5 minutes, it's rehydrated and we're going to stir that thoroughly through the milk to mix the culture into it. So I'm using a top to bottom motion there, not a figure of 8, so I'm moving the milk from the bottom up to the top, just gently stirring it there. That's for about a minute. Now I'll check the target temperature again, and it should be fairly spot on. It's gone up by about half a degree. That's not too bad. That's okay. We're going to ripen the milk next. After another bit of a stir. Notice on top of the milk there is some fat globules. Now that's the cream that wouldn't reincorporate back into the milk again. And it will over time during the process. You'll see it hardens into butter. Now we're going to allow the milk to ripen for 1 hour and 15 minutes. So it's going to be quite acidic. This helps the cheese to become acidic. It makes it set the rennet a lot faster as well. Anyway, we're getting on that part now. So this is after it's ripened.
And you see the cream has risen to the top, so we've got to give that a bit of a stir back in again. Just check the temperature again. And it shot up a full degree, but that's okay. It's going to cool down during the coagulation period. Now the heat is off. The heat was off after I added the bacteria, so that's when the heat was off. I'm going to add the calcium chloride solution now. The calcium chloride adds soluble calcium back into the milk so that the rennet will work properly. It needs that because it was pasteurized. Now we're going to add the rennet in. The rennet sets the milk into a solid and coagulates it. So stir for no more than 1 minute here, and then we're basically going to cover that, and we're going to let it set for 45 minutes at the target temperature, so 31°C or 88 Fahrenheit. Now after I left it for 45 minutes, I'm going to check it for a clean break. Just cut it there. Yeah, it felt like it was a bit sloppy under the knife. It didn't feel quite right, so I let it sit for about another 10 minutes. So I just covered that up again. There's no harm in doing this. It won't hurt the cheese at all. So after 10 minutes, I'll do another clean break check. Now the milk did feel a lot firmer when I plunged the knife into it that time, and there was a real clean break there. It split quite well. So I decided to go on to cutting the curds. So I'm going to cut the curds into 1 centimetre or 1/3 of an inch cubes, which is fairly small. So just used my curd cutter there to do the horizontals. I'm using my curd knife now to do the verticals. Now they're quite small, so this did take a little bit longer than normally it would. So be as precise as you can. You don't have to be exact here, as long as they're fairly small. 1/3 of an inch is fairly small, 1 centimetre. Okay. You can see the whey starting to be released already. We're going to cover that now, and we're going to allow the curds to heal for 5 minutes before we start stirring them. This tends to work a lot better because if you don't do this step, then you'll find that when you try to gently stir the curds, then they fracture. So at this stage, we're going to gently stir these for 20 minutes. And if there are any big pieces, then just cut them with the side of your spoon. So a fair bit of whey's been released already. That's fine. It's exactly what you want to happen. So just cutting big bits there. Now I didn't think the curds were small enough, so I just gave them a once over with a sanitised whisk. And that seemed to cut them a little bit smaller, because some of the pieces were actually 2.5 centimetres, which is about 1 inch big. So I found that this helped break them up a fair bit more. So I was starting the stirring from now, basically. So the first minute or two I just stirred with the whisk, and then I changed over to the spoon again. You can see they're fairly small, which is good. About the size of a pea, which is kind of what you want it to be at this stage. Okay, so good thing was we didn't need to increase the temperature of the curds. It just stayed at that temperature. So we're going to let the curds now settle for 5 minutes so they all sink to the bottom. And in the meanwhile, we're going to heat 3 litres of water to 63 degrees Celsius or 145 Fahrenheit, which I've got in that pot there. So after the 5 minutes of settling, we're now going to dip off some of the whey. We're just going to check the temperature. And it has dropped down a little bit, so it's about 1/2 degree off the target temperature, but that's fine. So we're going to dip off the whey using my tried and true technique. So I'm going to dip off about 11 cups of whey, which is about 1 3/4 litres. So just using the sieve to make sure that no curds get picked up when you're doing that. And then just replace that with the warm water or hot water. So basically what we're doing here is washing the curds, and we're actually going to, by doing this, we're lowering the overall acidity of the cheese. So it's not going to be sharp like a cheddar, it's going to be nice and soft and smooth like raclette. Okay, so I'm going to check the target temperature. It should now be up to 38 degrees Celsius or 100 Fahrenheit if you've done it right. And you can see that I have, which is great. Now, if you have a higher temperature than this, add a bit of cold water in. If it's not hot enough, put about another cup of water in. It should bring the temperature up. Okay, so we're going to stir this now for 10 minutes. So this is now washing the curd. So most of the whey has been expelled. That happened in the previous stirring. What's happening now, we're lowering the overall acidity of the curds itself. Okay, it looks like I'm trying to do two things at once there. Okay, so we set the timer for 5 minutes now that the curds have been stirred for 10 minutes. Now we're going to let those settle for 5 minutes so they sink down to the bottom. Makes it easier to pour them off into your colander. So take it over to the sink area, and we're going to drain through a cheesecloth lined colander. And you can see it's formed one big mass, which is exactly what we're after. I'm just going to plonk all that in there. Get any extras out with your hands. Obviously they're clean. Okay, now that drains fairly well. Doesn't have too many issues because we've been stirring it for a fair while. Now I was trying to be tricky here and bundle up the cheesecloth and put it straight into the mould. I actually could have put the mould underneath the cheesecloth. It would have been easier in the colander. But I filled it up. Didn't make it even enough, basically, and you'll see the result of that later on. So just make sure that the curds are even when you plonk it into the mould like that. Anyway, we're going to pop it into our trusty cheese press and press it at about 5 kilograms or 11 pounds for 15 minutes. Now I can tell that is that pressure on my press by just estimating that I've closed the spring about a quarter of the way down. So that's a light pressing, 5 kilograms. Okay, so 15 minutes has elapsed. I'm going to take it out of the press. I'm going to take it out of the mould or basket. Now, quite fragile still at the moment, so be careful. See, it's got a bit of a bulge on it there, so we just turn it over. And we're going to put it back into the mould again. So we're going to press it at the same pressure again, 5 kilograms or 11 pounds for 30 minutes this time. There we go. Okay, so 30 minutes later, take it out of the press, take it out of the mould or basket. Okay, it's formed up a lot bit better, but what's happened is it's kind of a bit skew-iff there. It's not level. But anyway, I'll put it back into the mould. I'm going to press it again. And I'm going to press it at 10 kilograms this time, or 22 pounds for 1 hour. And on my press, that means I've half closed the spring. Okay, so take it out of the press again, and remove it from the mould. And this should be the last pressing. Now you need all these little interim pressings in between to form it up properly. So we're going to press it 15 kilograms, 33 pounds for 12 hours. Now, if it wakes you up in the middle of the night, then leave it overnight, that's fine. The cheese will still form up. You can see there's not much whey coming out at this stage. Those interim steps helped get most of the whey out anyway. Okay, so this is the next day for me. Remove the cheese from the press and take it out of the mould or basket. Okay, so it didn't press evenly, but it's okay. So we're going to pop it into the brine solution, 18% brine solution, for 10 hours, and we're going to turn it over at 5 hours, just so it's evenly salted. Now you don't need a flash container like this one. Any plastic container will do, as long as you turn it over at the 5 hour mark. So once it's fully brined, we're going to take it out of the brine and place it on a draining mat. Now this can be plastic or bamboo. I use bamboo here. So I'm going to let that air dry now. And put your brine away. So I'm going to let that air dry for 24 hours. Now I turned it at the 12 hour mark. So if you need to, place it under a little umbrella, keep the bugs off it. Now, after air drying, we place it in a maturation box. We ripen at 12C or to 16C at 90% relative humidity. Now, I've been washing this for a while, so wash with a simple brine solution after the 3rd day, and then wash and turn the cheese every 2nd day for 1 month. And it starts to turn orange, which is pretty cool. So I'm just washing. So I'm not rubbing or anything like that. I just pour a bit of the simple brine solution over the cheese. So after we washed it for a month, we're going to wash and turn the cheese weekly. So fairly simple process. Basically all we're doing is wiping or smearing the Brevibacterium linens all over the cheese for an even ripening surface. It also helps harden the surface of the cheese up and causes a nice rind. So you can see that's what it looks like. A brownish red rind will form and develop as long as you keep ripening it. So you can ripen it for 8 to 12 weeks. Now I'm going to fully mature mine up to the 12-week mark. Now have a look at this next shot in contrast. So this was taken at week 5. Now this is now week 7 after washing. You can see it's got even oranger, and I dare say that if got to keep washing it for another 5 weeks, and that will completely go brown. And I'm hoping it's still very firm, this cheese, which is good. Anyway, back to Gav.
Well, there you have it. Raclette. Fairly simple cheese to make. I thought it was quite easy, but I've been doing cheese making for a while, but I will put this in the intermediate types of cheeses. It's not too easy, but it's not very hard to make. The only part is the maturation, and you must make sure that you keep an eye on the cheese so it doesn't get any runaway molds on it. Like you saw a little bit of blue and white mold at the end there when I was washing it. I'd actually made a mistake, forgot about it for 2 weeks, and I saw a little slight bloom. But that's all been cleaned off now and washed with a simple brine solution. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget that you can check out other cheese making videos by popping over here, and that you can support the show on Patreon. The link is down below in the description. If you want to make this cheese, pop over and have a look at our cheese making section over at littlegreenworkshops.com.au. Thanks for watching, Curd Nerds, and I'll see you next time.